means business. The word Iska means business. And there's a din of what's called a heter Iska. Heter Iska means that's a way to get around the question of ribis. That instead of a straight loan and paying interest on it, so you get around it by becoming a partnership, a business deal. Okay, so let's see over here. Hilchos Iska. Someone gives his friend money to do business with, and the profit will be split. And if there's any losses, they both incur the losses. That's called the Iska, and it's also. Now, why is it also? He says, because in other words, the Reuven is giving Shimon $100 to do business with. If they're partners, so Reuven doesn't have any money. Shimon doesn't have any money, and he gave him money now with what to do business. So, and they're partners. So we consider it, half is a pikadon, that's my half that I'm giving you, or I'm investing with, and half I'm also giving you a loan with what you could do business and make profit. So, Sharehu b'achrei shalei v'hu noito es harevach v'gam ha'hefsed olav. V'achetzi, the other half, who pikadon etzai. Sharehu b'achrei is hanaisen. He's not responsible for the other half. The other half, the one who gave him. V'hu leikech es harevach mechatzi zeh v'gam ha'hefsed mechatzi zeh olav. V'makabel shum esasik v'tayra b'chatzi ha'pikadon sheshayach hanaisen zeh rak v'nei shanaisen chetzi ha'avor. In other words, you're not doing anything over here in the business. If there's going to be money, we're going to make profit, right? You're going to get profit. Oh, thanks to who is that? That's all for me. Why am I so generous to give you half of my profit? Because you gave me money to be able to do my business. That's already ribbis. The work that I'm doing for you, which normally you would have to do, so that is a form of ribbis. That's the problem in a partnership.
So which half is the pikadon?
Huh?
What half is the pikadon? What half is the malveh?
The one half that I gave you one half. I'm lending you money. You are cheluk. You're supposed to put in.
And if each one put $50.
Huh?
Each one puts $50.
But each one puts $50. One put in $100. One put in $100. The other put in nothing.
I see.
So why is he working for him? He's working for him because he was a nice person. He did me a favor. He gave me a voice. So he's working. That's the problem of a partnership. So that's what comes in the Iska. Is im hanoisen noisen hamakabel eze socha b'shvilcha amo. If the one that got that received $100 is getting paid something additional for his work that he's doing for the partner, v'atayra shu mesasek b'chalkai. Because the Amo and the Torah that is Misasik V'chalkai, now because of the work and the effort that he's putting in his share, V'yesh Liktzois Oy Sheyitim Miyad V'shas Lasinas HaMois Choray V'day Afilu B'davar Mut. If the Torah remembers, I gave out the Shtar Hiskas. In the Shtar Hiska, it says over there, I received $1. What's the India receiving $1? The dollar was the pay that usually what we do is, like he says over here, he says either they can make up that he'll get $1 at the end, but usually, right, when you give the loan, that's when you get the dollar. So that explains that part of het iska. Now Yechaylin lahasnes, you could make up shloyehei hamakabel neman loimer shehifsid min hakeren kiim apiedim kshedim. You could put into the agreement that if you want to say that you had any loss and you can, we're not talking now where you'll soon see. We're not talking now where you made up that you're going to get a certain percentage in lieu of me giving a cheshbon. We're not talking about that. We're talking about that they went into this business with the intent to make money, and everything will be split equal. Be split equal, that means if there's no money, you get nothing, right? So how do I know there was no money? So he says that you could make up that only the li'edim kishedim to testify that you didn't make money. In other words, you told me that you made $100, maybe you made $200 profit, so you have to swear that you that you didn't make more. So that's things. In other words, that you can make up such things. That's okay. Gam yichayim lahasnas. They could also make up shabreidu biyadam makabel, that the recipient of the money has the choice. She'im yitze loses lanoisen kach v'kach v'achel garepach shaloi. Tehei yorishus biyada. If he wants to make up, he can make up, which we saw in the het iska, that in lieu of giving an accounting and to be able to prove or anything, I'm giving you a flat rate of 10% for your share. And whatever they made more money, it says, this is the right way how to do it. The one who got the money will not want to swear. And he'll give, he's happy to give what they made up, the 10% that they made up. This is what we have a customer heter iska. Yochel giten ganoisen as a kerem im harevach shekatzu b'neihem ve'en kam shum issa. If they didn't make any money, so you're giving him something that he didn't supposed to get. Maybe you call that also ribus? No, because he made up that I'm give you this amount for your share. The kivish yeshel of chiyuv shvur yochel lifta as b'mamaynem en ashvur. Abel, he says, sheyikna hamakabel es chelek harevach shel hanoisen bekach v'kach sheyiyeh mechuyev losses le'achakach kach v'kach b'chol leifen zeh osa. What does this mean? This means that this is in a heter iska, we make up either that we split the profits, and if there's no profit, then you get nothing, or we make up that you get a percentage. Now he says, what happens if the one that's giving the money wants to be more assured that his money's safe? So he says, you know what? We're going into business. Regardless, whatever profit there'll be, I will get your profit and give you a share. I'll pay you a certain amount. In other words, me to say, I'm taking the full responsibility. Before we were talking about palga, milva, palga, bikotin, and each one is responsible. So now he says, I'm taking the full responsibility. Taking the full responsibility, that alone is ribus. That alone is a form of ribus. That's what he's saying over here. I'm going to pay you a certain amount. That'll have to give him kach v'kach b'chol oifen. B'chol oifen means regardless. I made up that I'm going to give you this and I have full responsibility. This is also if to pay or not to pay. Now he says, this a thing that happens many times. People ask for a loan, and let's say usually in the heter iska, it says it's repayable on this and this date. That the keren is repayable this day. So what happened? Nosson iska alzman. He gave him an iska repayable January 1st. V'nis akvu etzra mois achakach achasman apiroyim. And January 1st came and he didn't give him back the money yet. Tzorach hamisasik vitin loyreva gam ba'ad azman she'achakach ki mistama nisha biyodai al t'nai orisha. We assume that it's based on the original agreement. Umikol makom toiv yoysa richtov tekev b'shtar iska. It's good to write right away in the shtar iska. She'im yishoru hamois eis al makabel achazman. If I hold on to your money after the time, yeh gam b'tnai zeh. Yeh gam gai b'tnai zeh. In other words, it means that he's saying that if there's if I don't give it back at a time, so the condition that we made will continue on.
Buying
now he said,
house is like a business.
What?
What do we do when we buy houses?
We'll soon get there. Okay, now he talks over here. He gives over here an example of a shtar iska, which is written in Hebrew, and basically it's the same thing that I showed you. Now he says, let's go to tests. This is just examples of a shtar iska. Before that, he says, "Imma noisen roitzen she'hamakabel yitin loy shtar chayv pashut v'ametz k'chok hamedina." If the one that's giving the money wants to be secure, so he knows with a shtar iska, if there's any problem, he can't go to court. The court wouldn't recognize it. So he wants that b'rdei she'im hamakabel yisarev milofraya or yomos yegay nekel gigvos ma'osav ayidei akros. In the shtar that they're going to write, they're not going to write the same that it says in the shtar in the heter iska. Ella shobapeh he masnin shemois ela hem b'toyres iska. But in the shtar it's going to say a different thing. Ibizay zok the leima hani v'afilu im ashtar eina el al keren levad. If Chal doesn't talk about the profits, just the principle. The kiven shanoisa yochol gigvos kol hamois b'shtar chayv shebiyodain v'afilu im yeh hefsed boru. In other words, he has a document and go to court and get all his money. Is also gigvos kol hamois b'shtar zeh shebiyodain. I'm sorry. That's also. Afilu hamakabel maimel hanoisen v'hu adam chassid mikol makom loy mahani. Afilu, even though there's an honest person, he's not going to take anything in Aradara. Afilu hamakabel noisen hanoisen shtar iska shekosabay ki hamoy shenichlevu b'shtar chayv heim b'toyres iska gam ken loy mahani because the ikol meichas sham hanoisen hayosher yagimu arakach shtar iska v'yigvu b'shtar chayv v'ein heter razeh elu sheyishalshu shtar iska b'yad hashorish. They should put away with someone the shtar iska. Oy shanoisen yachtem atzmai al shtar iska v'yehei munu b'yad hamakabel.
What is this helping?
Huh?
What is this helping?
He can't deny anything. So that in other words, you'll always be able to show the shtar iska.
Be afraid that the mekabel will hide the shtar iska.
Not the mekabel.
The nation.
The nation
will take out the shtar and he won't show the shtar iska.
Oy sheyichtavu shtar achayv shehu al pi oifen hamavur b'shtar iska oy l'chol hapochos yiyachtu edem sheshtar hachayv hu b'toyres iska u'b'chol ifanim elu afilu nichol b'shtar chayv hakeren imareva shapet domin. In other words, we want to make sure that they're going to follow the iska. Saying that even if you make a document for the court, but we want to make sure that they're going to follow the iska.
But at the beginning of this, it was massive, like the Tzemach Tzedek said. Even if they just discussed it balpeh, and they wrote the star, it was good enough.
He said this already.
That's when first he says it here at the end also.
Yeah.
But that's only if you didn't make any other star also. Mm-hmm. Over here the problem is you're making a star which is contradicting this star.
It's the real thing.
Now he says the answer to your question. I discussed this already one time, but we'll discuss it again. You're making a star that we're going to make a business, an investment, there has to be an investment. He's taking the money to do business. Just he has to pay off his bills. He says, Avol, it still is a way to make it. Reuven needs money. He has some things, some items. Not over Shimon, a fill of Bezol Godel. He could sell it to Shimon, the one that's giving him the money. Ubetnai, Shabreda Biad Reuven, Sha'im Layim Sirenu Uday Shimon Adjan Pliny, Yit Lebada Kach Vakach. Vishiyiru Shimon Reva Karo. In order to make a little business over here. V'shima Yitn Reuven es Amois, v'yasa Kinyan Suda Ukim Amekach, for they make a Kinyan Suda that we made this business, that we have a partnership. The Hainush Shimon like Halakeach Yitn Ktsas. He's saying here what a Kinyan Suda is. So I'm all excited. When they made a Kinyan Suda, they wore like a long jacket. So they gave the jacket, and the other one picked up. Like today, we use a handkerchief. So they used to give that the Hainush Shimon Lakeh Ksas Mi Big Day, L'Ruven, Sheyit Fizbay, Ubezehu Kaines Aschayre Shel Ruven, Vafilu Shleb B'fnei Edom, Vaschayre Hi B'Achraya Shimon HaKaina.
So if the ship drowns, Reuven doesn't have to give the schayre to Shimon.
Right. L'chein Reuven Shoy Yachai B'Shimon Mois, U'Bagiz Mana Piroi Eiloi. So let's just go back to his question. I once discussed this with him. I'll repeat again what I once said. This is a big shaila, and I told last time that I even had an issue with Rabbi Malo. Rabbi Malo held that if you buy a house,
that's not
you can't make. That's not a business. That's the person you need money to buy the house. And I argued with him that everyone that buys a house is not just buying a place to live, but it's also an investment. Because you hold that the house will appreciate in value. Like I once said that the Rebbe did a big favor to Lubavitcher. He made them all gevirim. He pushed them all to buy houses. The Rebbe always was against renting. He pushed them all to buy houses. And years ago, people bought houses today it's very expensive. Those people who bought today for $1 million, in Mitzvah Hashem, before Mashiach comes, they'll sell their houses also for $2 million. But originally, when the Rebbe started pushing people buying houses back in 1960, in the 1950s, 1960, people bought houses in Crown Heights for $15,000. And those people are sitting on houses. With the house today could be $1.5 million or more. So you can't say that it's not a business. It was a real investment. That's number one. Second of all, there's a heta that they give. Comes along a Melamed that he has to marry off his daughter, and he needs money. So he goes to a person, and they make a heta iska. Where's the business?
He's marrying his daughter, no business.
So the Teretz said that what they use a heta, it's not according to what the Kitzur Shulchan said. They use a heta that if that will help you have peace of mind and be able to continue your job, that alone is otherwise you lose your job also. If he's going to be troubled with the burden of the wedding, he'll lose his job also.
Is there training or training?
I heard this. I once read this someplace. This heter. So that is.
So basically, he's working for you.
I gave him what's the Muhammad, and if a person has a job in a factory,
and he won't be able to keep the job.
He wouldn't be able to keep his job. So that's it. And if he has his job, he gets raises, he gets bonuses. I mean, there's other benefits that come along together with the job. That's otherwise, a lot of the people that are taking loans or heter iska, according to here, can't take the heter iska. It wouldn't help the heter iska. Now he just says. Huh? Rabbi Bogomilsky, we remained a tenant yet. V'chein Ruven shehoye chayiv u'shima mois. U'bagi azman ha'piroin, ein loy mois l'Ruven, v'yispashu, and they compromised, sheshima yamtem loy eze zman. B'zeh, gam kein ein takona v'shtar iska, because it's just a chayiv. It's not that there's no business here. I owe someone money, I can't pay, so I say, you know what, I'll pay you interest, let's make a shtar iska. He said, for that you can't make a shtar iska. Sheruva and Yimkel Shimon Ezes Chayda, the same idea as before. Sheyesh le ba'ifan ha'niska le'el, v'Shimon yalzalei as a shtar chayv shehoya mikfar, because he paid him, we're giving him this chayda, he paid him. Uruva and Yitain Leishtar ala schayda shekana mita to make a drei that he bought from him. He gave it to him, and he paid this paid off the chayv, and now we're starting a new thing. Yisrael shenais rachavera behema legadra v'shiach achaka berevach is dina commercial nice mois beiska. It's the same thing. It's a business, and he's going to get a share from the profit of the animal. So that's you need a heter iska.
If two people go in a partnership, they don't need a heter iska, do they?
If they both give the same amount,
they're both putting in money and everything.
As long as they both put in money.
They both give 50%.
Yeah, any money is in. As long as they're both putting in money.
no, it has to be the same amount. But then otherwise, if you give
The
25
extra
and I
is
give
taka
50,
yeah.
the other 25 is the same problem.
Yeah.
The din is that if you didn't write a heter iska and when you took the loan, you said it's a pi heter iska, that alone is also enough b'diavad. At chila, you're supposed to write it, but that's also enough b'diavad.
Do partners need a heter iska if they bring both the money to the table and they start a business?
No, because each one is making profit on his money. You're not giving me anything.
So it could be 10-90 or 70-30, doesn't matter.
It depends on the percentage you're getting.
Same percentage.
No,
as per
then that's a
investment.
problem. If I give 10%, you give 90%,
Yeah.
I was splitting 50, then I'm getting money on your money.
No. You put 10% and you get 10%.
There's no problem then.
If you're getting for what you invest, there's no problem. Yeah, if you want to join somebody that didn't give you 10% of the money and give you 10%, fine. But if you give